longitude, first thing you need to make sure that you are responsible for is this little reading. What is latitude, what is longitude, and you already have it in your binders. There's a copy, I attached it to today's update on Schoology. And you can even see, even though this isn't that same paper that you guys got, it's blank down here. These are the questions that we're going to do here in a few minutes to actually review this stuff. So make sure you are comfortable with this. I could ask you anything out of these, out of these written areas on here. And then the other thing that you're going to need to do is I'm going to give you a map. I'll say here's a given point. Here's point A. I'll point to it on the map. And then you are going to need to give me the coordinates, okay? Latitude, longitude for that. There are going to be a lot of those on there, but you're going to need to be able to do that. Now, I got to tell you on pretty much any quiz, what's the big thing that you need to do tomorrow for something like that? You need to be what?
Well, you gotta study.
Yeah.
And read the questions.
Read the questions and be very what?
Observant.
Observant.
Careful. Open-minded.
Careful. Double check your work, especially on this. Because as you're doing this stuff on the maps with the rulers, it's easy to get something off, off space a little bit. So when you put an answer down, make sure that you double check it. When you put your answer down, okay, if you're giving me latitude and longitude coordinates, what's the one thing you need to make sure you remember to do?
The north or south.
Yeah, make sure you label. Yeah, the degrees, and make sure that you label the direction, because if not, then it's, if you're saying 45 degrees and that's all you say, well, is it north or is it south? Now, when you do this tomorrow, I don't want you to, don't panic and think, well, does it have to be, exact, because some of these numbers are, it's going to be in between the lines. It's not going to be right directly on the line like 30 degrees for some of these. Now, say for example, the answer is 43 degrees north. You're going to get a little bit of leeway there. 5 degrees either direction. So if it's anywhere from 38 degrees north up to 48 degrees north, you'll be okay. All right, because again, it's tough when it's in between there to get it exact. It's easy to be off one or two. So as long as you're in that range, you are fine. Now you have to get that range the same for latitude and longitude. Say you're within that, say if this is what the true answer is, and you give me 41 degrees north, that's great, you got that right. But if the longitude is, say it's 114 degrees west, and you give me 134 west, that's not within 5 degrees, so even though this is right and that's wrong, your location's wrong. It's one of those that's all or none, so that would be wrong for that. Yes?
So what if there's a question, it's like on 1 degree, and you're like 5 like the leeway that you get makes it a whole nother, like, north, south, east, or west. You know what I mean?
Oh, you mean if it's on that borderline by like the equator?
Yeah.
So, there wouldn't be anything you have to worry about on that. But it would, on a question like that, that's a good question, but that would be clear for you. If it would be on which side of the equator it would be, or the prime meridian. Okay. Again, it'll be 24 points, and you will have, because again, this is one of those quizzes that people finish at all different times and stuff, so you have all the time that you need to do this tomorrow. So again, don't rush, because I'll tell you this for every quiz, but don't rush, because again, and especially with this when you're doing coordinates, it's easy to make careless mistakes on you. Okay. Any questions about that? As far as how that's going to go? All right, awesome. Should be, you should be in good shape this morning. Everybody was doing pretty well on this, so we should be, we should be good to go. All right. Now, today, again, what we're going to do is we're going to start going through our next unit that we're going to have a quiz on next week. It's part of our weekly quizzes here. It's going to deal with map projections and types of maps. There's going to be 6 that you'll need to know. Does anybody remember when we talked about what is the problem with taking a globe and putting it on a flat surface? What happens? What happens? Thank you.
Maybe the shapes are not correct, or the distance between the coordinates.
Yeah, that's when you get that distortion stuff where either the shape, the size, the distance, the direction, it's going to put something off. Okay. Now, the whole thing with projections and types of maps is, well, what are you willing to live with? What do you want to have accurate, But what are you willing to say? Okay, the distance isn't as important. And again, it depends what job you're doing. Okay, some people will need different types. So we are going to go through that, take a real quick look at that, and then we'll do a little bit of practice for your quiz tomorrow. Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Those of you who are at desks should have this, but go ahead and get your textbook out. It is under there. Those of you around, I think either Ian doesn't have one, or that, but you have two of them in there. So, and then you guys will get. And then you guys will get to know some. Yes. Well, we're going to do that in a second. I want you to have that out. First thing I want you to do before we get to that little half sheet that I have on longitude on there, go ahead and answer those. And once you're finished, just turn that over so that I know everybody is finished, and we will go over it. Like I said, these come directly from that review sheet of information for the quiz tomorrow, so it's a good, real quick review for you. Try to get that definition. Think about that one. Make sure you have everything in there.